Have you ever bought something that you didn't need, but convinced yourself that you would use it or wear it? Or do you know someone who does this? What is it that makes us do this? Why do we buy things that we don't need? I harness the power of advertising psychology and experts such as Dr. Kit Yarrow to explain why we buy things we don't need. And here they are. So before we get into the points, we need to understand how advertising psychology works. There are a few key points. So there are about 3 markets: health, wealth, and relationships. These 3 markets are the areas that advertising companies target. And according to advertising psychology, consumers or buyers have qualities that advertising tries to take advantage of. For example, consumers are emotional. It might be fear. That's why we buy masks and hand sanitizer and disinfectant, because we're afraid of the virus, for example. Or it could be pride. We want to show off. Or it could be eagerness or excitement. Another point is that consumers want to avoid loss. It's human nature to not want to lose things. There are very negative emotions associated with losing things. And so people want the best deals, and they don't want to feel like they've missed out or been cheated. This applies to opportunities as well. We don't want to feel like we missed an opportunity. And this will come up later. This is why a 25% off or any type of bargain is seen as attractive. It's why limited time offers are attractive, because that scarcity drives us to buy something. Consumers also want to be like others. They want to go with trends and they want to follow them. If someone famous has a brand of shaving cream or clothing, people want it. If the general public is on TikTok or has iPhones, then people get curious and they get drawn towards it. They don't want to be the only one left out. They don't want to be the only one who doesn't have that phone or isn't following that trend. This is why it's really effective for businesses to have customer reviews and testimonials on their page. This is also why promoting on social media is very effective. It shows people that there are so many others who are already using this product or wearing this brand. People want to feel like they're a part of a movement. So now there are 2 general reasons why we buy things. One of them is to move away from pain and suffering. So like medications, to go on vacation, holiday trips. After a long year of work, you want to escape that. And number 2, they want to feel closer to pleasure. Think ice cream, think cars, think movies. Why do we buy things we don't need? Number 1, media influence. So the average person sees about 5,000 ads in a single day. And of course, the purpose of these ads is to convince you that your life will become better if you have this product. Why so many? It might be the same ad shown in different places, repeating over and over again. But then the next question is, why? Why the same ad over and over again? Well, actually, showing you once isn't enough. It's very easy to ignore something that you see one time. These big companies know that if they show you a product over and over again, it might actually make you more likely to buy that product. Well, there are reasons why it works the way it does. They want to imprint it into your brain, their product, so that when you go to the store and you're buying diapers or you're buying clothes, you're buying their brand because it comes into your mind and you're like, wow, I've seen that on TV, or I've seen a billboard ad for it. But it actually gets a little deeper than this. It's this effect called mere exposure. So basically what that means is people have preference for people and things that they are more familiar with. And so the more exposure you have, the more familiarity you have, and then the more likely you are to buy that product. Think about the first time you've heard a song on at the mall. Maybe you thought it was mediocre and not that good. But then after constantly playing it, it just starts getting catchy. And then you hear it again and again, and then it actually sounds good. The more you hear it, if you didn't dislike it in the beginning, then you start to like it more and more the more you hear it. That's the mere exposure effect. There are reasons why it works. So one reason is because of uncertainty reduction. So the more you see it, the more you begin to trust it. It's this evolutionary thing kind of ingrained in our brain to be suspicious of things that are new, because if you don't know about it, it could harm you and it could possibly kill you, right? But the more you're familiar with something, the more likely you are to trust it, the less likely it is to harm you, and that's what they want. And then another reason is called perceptual fluency. Basically, that's just fancy language for you're more likely to understand a product or a thing or a person the more you're exposed to them. So let's say the first time you watch a movie, you don't understand certain parts of it or certain characters, or you miss some scenes. But if you watch it again, you're more likely to understand things you didn't understand the previous time. So the more you understand, the more you appreciate a product, and the more likely you are to buy it. Number 2 is social pressure and the desire to fit in. Jennifer Kem, a strategic brand advisor, basically says that our purchases are driven by perceptions, how we think people see us. So even in tough times, we want to appear like we're doing well. That's why some people, even though they're not doing well, they'd buy something very expensive like a Louis Vuitton handbag to appear like they're still doing well, to appear as if nothing has fazed them. It's a sign of authority and status, and resilience in a tough time. If you see someone with a new car or new sneakers or something brand new that you don't have, then how would you react? What's your first reaction? Is it joy? Is it jealousy? Is it longing? Maybe you think that you should get a new pair of shoes or a new car or a new jacket. Suddenly what you have doesn't seem like it's good enough. Your mind tells you that you should try to keep up. It's this fear of missing out. You don't want to be the one with the old phone. You don't want to be the one who's not experiencing what everyone else is experiencing. It must be nice to have that new phone. It's faster, it's sleeker, it's cooler. Basically, discounts and sales. Bargains, basically. Remember what we said about advertising psychology. Consumers want to avoid loss. And these sales are deliberate. These companies know that people are more likely to buy when there's a sale going on. They're playing on that desire to get a good deal, a good bargain. They trick us into thinking that we're actually saving money, because most people don't just buy one thing and just head out when there's a sale. They tend to buy a lot, and if you're buying a lot of things, then you don't actually end up saving money. Let's say we see a shirt that we like, but it's just not the right color, or it's not our size. Then we convince ourselves that we'll get it because it's on sale, or that we'll lose weight to fit in. But because it's on sale, we had to get it. And having something on sale allows us to basically buy things that we don't want or we don't need, or things that don't fit because they were on sale. We can always rationalize it at the end of the day. Well, it was on sale. I saved money. Did you really? And this is especially true for limited time offers and seasonal clothing. You're not sure if you're going to see those clothes again or that product again for a while, and you don't want to miss out. You don't want to take the risk of not seeing it again. So you get it, even though you might not end up using it, even though you end up storing it in your basement or somewhere else. Number 4 is security. Again, people want to prevent loss. So insurance is a great example of this. Some of us get insurance for things that we don't actually need, but we want to make sure that our product doesn't break. We want to make sure that nothing happens to it. It makes us feel nice, warm, and cozy inside if we have that kind of guarantee. Sometimes we feel like things can give us security. If a home, a roof over our head, bed, clothes, a nice reliable form of transportation, maybe a nice car can make us feel secure, then what about getting more of those things? Won't that make us feel secure as well? But the reality of the matter is that the feeling of security or the warmth or the coziness that these things give us is only temporary, because in a month, in a couple of months, or in a year, some of these things won't last. Maybe you got a fly swatter that's supposed to help you, keep out those pesky flies, but you never end up using it. Material items are temporary, so is the happiness that comes with them. And number 5 is hedonism. In other words, we can't control ourselves when we keep chasing pleasure. It's probably conditioning. Whenever we feel down, whenever we feel sad or excited, we want to buy this product, or we want to go to the movies. We want to treat ourselves, or we want to cheer ourselves up. So we've paired that item with our happiness, or we've paired that item with our sadness. So each time we feel sad, we run to buy something. Each time we feel happy, we go to the amusement park, or we buy something fancy. Each time we feel moody, we buy ice cream to make ourselves feel better. Or we go to the movies even though there's nothing good on, because we've programmed ourselves and we've conditioned ourselves to always buy something if we feel a certain type of way. It gives us a dopamine kind of release. It gives us a thrill each time we buy something new. It's just that anticipation or that expectation of something new. It becomes almost automatic. Each time we feel a certain way, we bought an item, or we went to a certain place to watch a movie, or we got something sweet or sour. We've established a cycle and a pattern based on that dopamine release. So we want to re-experience that happiness, that excitement, and we keep coming back over and over again. Number 6, we could be compensating for our deficiencies. So if we're really insecure, or if we've been raised a certain way, maybe we've been led to believe that the clothes make a man, or if you drive a really nice car, people will respect you. If you dress really well, people will respect you. So maybe we try to impress others with the things that we have rather than with who we are ourselves. Maybe we feel unloved and unworthy, and we've convinced ourselves that if we have an expensive jacket and boots, then we'll feel better about ourselves and we'll look fresh, because we aren't comfortable in our own skin. It's really just a continuous cycle of buying without having long-term relief, because you buy to make yourself feel good, but then you don't feel good, and then you buy more to make yourself feel good, but you still don't feel good, and you keep buying and buying and buying, because each time it offers you some small form of relief, and you keep chasing that in the hopes that it gets better and better, but it probably just gets less and less each time, because items don't last. And the thrill of an expensive new item also doesn't last. And that's all for today. Hopefully this was beneficial to you and informative. Let me know in the comments if any of these apply to you, and be sure to check out my other self-help videos and my informational content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday.